There's a place on Earth that broke away from Africa over 88 million years ago and floated off to dream a different dream. This is Madagascar, an island where evolution hit the randomize button and never looked back. "90% of its wildlife is found nowhere else on the planet, from primates that sing like whales to predators that look like a committee of animals built them. The thing nobody tells you is that this isolation isn't just about weird animals. It's about a human story just as strange, a land of ancient spirits and forgotten giants. We're diving deep into the world's strangest island. You see, this is a land where 90% of everything that lives, from the smallest insect to the largest predator, is found nowhere else on Earth. It's a predator's paradise twisted by time, where hunting isn't just about survival, it's an art form. We're talking tongues that whip like bullwhips, eyes that swivel like radar dishes, and claws that ghost through canopies silent as smoke. Today, we're not just looking at the animals, we are exploring the whole story. We'll traverse this island's fever-dream terrains, from avenues of giant upside-down trees to forests made of stone needles. We'll meet the people who sailed here from Indonesia, not Africa, and whose lives are guided by thousands of sacred taboos. We're diving headfirst into the land of hunting ghosts and evolutionary freaks. This is Madagascar. Western Madagascar isn't a gentle cradle, it's a gauntlet. This is a landscape designed to test you. The first thing that hits you is the color, red. The soil is a deep, bleeding rust, a scar on the earth so vast it's visible from space. And erupting from this red earth are the sentinels of the West, the baobabs. These are not normal trees. To put it mildly, they look like they were planted upside down, their massive, bloated trunks soaring over 100 feet high, with tiny, spindly branches clawing at the sky. They are walking, talking wow factors. These upside-down titans are survival vaults, each one capable of storing over 32,000 liters of water to survive the brutal, months-long dry season. Some have been standing here for over 1,000 years, silent witnesses to a world that has completely changed around them. The legendary Avenue of the Baobabs near the town of Morondava is where travelers come to worship these giants. You can get there by car, but it's a bumpy, dusty ride. A local guide is essential, not just for navigation, but for understanding. The local Sakalava people believe these trees are sacred. That they house the spirits of ancestors. To cut one down is unthinkable, but this region holds a far stranger, more dangerous landscape. To get there, you have to cross the Tsiribihina River. In some places, you might find a concrete bridge, but out here, in the remote wild, you're at the mercy of rickety ferries. These are basically wooden rafts made of planks lashed together that haul cars, people and livestock across the crocodile-laced currents. It's a test of faith. And what's on the other side? A place that looks like hell's jaw erupted from the earth. This is the Tsingy de Bemaraha, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Tsingy is a Malagasy word that means where one cannot walk barefoot. And they are not kidding. This is a massive, sprawling forest of limestone karsts, eroded by millennia of rain into a labyrinth of razor-sharp needles and pinnacles, some slicing over 200 feet high. They are sharp enough to flay skin on a careless brush. For centuries, this place was shunned by locals, believed to be haunted. GPS fails in this maze. The only way to navigate it is via a network of swaying rope bridges, strung between the spines like a spiderweb over a dizzying abyss. It costs about $15 to enter the park, and you must have a guide and a safety harness. It's an exhausting vertical climb, but the view from the top is like looking out over a petrified, stormy sea. But here's the kicker. This perilous landscape isn't empty. It forges predators. In these Tsingy mazes, where a single misstep means a serious injury, the Fossa cryptoprocta ferox reigns as Madagascar's apex phantom. If you tried to build a predator from spare parts, you'd get the Fossa. It has the sleek, muscular body of a puma, the retractable claws of a cat, the long balancing tail of a monkey, and the face of a mongoose, which, believe it or not, is its closest relative. It's an evolutionary masterpiece that evolved over 20 million years to be the top dog in a world without big cats. It hunts with a versatility that frankly mocks ecosystems elsewhere. It can be active day or night. It's just as comfortable on the ground as it is in the trees, leaping over 30 feet between branches. Its primary prey, lemurs. It stalks them through the canopies with terrifying silence. But the thing nobody tells you is how smart they are. Fossas have been seen coordinating in rare packs to hunt larger prey, using low growls to communicate. They've even raided villages, earning them a dark reputation in local folklore as lemur-devouring demons. Seeing one is incredibly rare, a flash of brown muscle in the shadows. But the Tsingy holds weirder hunters. Deep in the underbelly, where shadows pool like ink, lives a master of camouflage, the leaf-tailed gecko Uroplatus spp. These creatures are nature's practical joke. Some look exactly like a shard of mossy bark. Others, like the satanic leaf-tailed gecko, mimic a dead, curled leaf so perfectly, right down to the vein patterns, that you could stare right at it and see nothing. They are nocturnal ambush artists. They hang upside down, jaws agape, waiting for a moth or beetle to fly by, and then snap. And then there's the lowland streaked tenrec. This creature looks like it was designed by a committee with a flair for the dramatic. Imagine a hedgehog, but with the vivid, warning coloration of a wasp and the spiky attitude of a punk rocker. It's a living contradiction, a small mammal that has decided to look as threatening as possible. Covered in a chaotic jumble of yellow and black quills, it's a resident of the leaf litter. A tiny hunter that snuffles through the decomposing foliage of Madagascar's western forests. Its snout is long and pointed, almost like a shrew's, constantly twitching as it searches for its primary prey, earthworms. But its appearance, as bizarre as it is, isn't the most shocking thing about it. Here's the wow factor. This tenrec communicates by rubbing specialized quills on its back together. This process, called stridulation, creates a high-pitched ultrasonic sound completely inaudible to the human ear but crystal clear to other tenrecs. It's the only mammal in the world known to do this. Think about that. Insects do it. Snakes do it. But a mammal? This is a private channel, a secret language. A mother tenrec uses it to call to her young, a tiny, all-clear signal in the dense undergrowth. It can also be a warning, a high-frequency scream that tells others to stay away. It's a biological marvel, a sound system evolved from defensive spines. And those spines are not just for show. When a predator, like the fossa, Madagascar's sleek cat-like apex hunter, gets too close, the tenrec puts on a spectacular defensive display. It erects a crest of long, sharp quills around its neck, making itself look twice as large and far more dangerous. If the fossa is foolish enough to press the attack, the tenrec won't just curl up. It will aim its detachable barbed spines right at the predator's sensitive nose or paws and charge backward, driving the quills deep into its attacker's flesh. These quills are designed to break off and embed themselves, causing excruciating pain and potential infection. It's a lesson most fossas only need to learn once. This entire western landscape is a story of survival. It's a land of extremes. The dry, spiny forests are a gauntlet of thorns, home to the bizarre, tentacled octopus trees of the Didieraceae family. It's harsh, it's sharp, and it's home to hunters that had to get creative and prey that had to become living fortresses. Life here is lived on the edge, waiting for the rains that may not come. But as we leave the dry west and head east, the world transforms. To do so, one must climb. You ascend the Central Highlands, a massive spine of mountains that bifurcates the island. The air grows cooler. The red, iron-rich laterite soil stains the ground like blood. Then you reach the Great Eastern Escarpment and begin the descent. The red earth gives way to a wall of green. The change is not gradual, it is a sudden, breathtaking plunge into another world. The dry, baking heat of the west is replaced by a thick, clinging humidity. The relative silence of the spiny desert is shattered by a cacophony of life. The constant thrum of insects, the echoing calls of birds, and the incessant drip of water from the canopy high above. This is the rainforest, a world running on water and sunlight. And it is the kingdom of the lemur. To understand Madagascar, you have to understand the lemur. When this island, this continent in miniature, broke away from Africa 160 million years ago, it was before monkeys had truly taken over the world. Around 88 million years ago, it severed its final tie to India, becoming a giant evolutionary laboratory floating in total isolation. Sometime after that, by a 1 in a million stroke of luck, a small group of primitive primates washed up on its shores, most likely clinging to a natural raft of vegetation swept out to sea by a storm. With no monkeys to compete with and no large mammalian predators to fear, these lucky castaways exploded. They went through an evolutionary frenzy, a process called adaptive radiation. Diversifying into over 100 different species, filling every possible niche. Some became like squirrels. Some, like the eye, evolved to become like woodpeckers with a long skeletal finger for tapping on wood and pulling out grubs. Some, like the Indri, became powerful vertical leapers with legs like pistons, filling the air with their haunting whale-like songs. And some became giants. There were lemurs the size of gorillas like Archaeoindris, a 400-pound behemoth that slowly browsed leaves in the canopy. There were sloth lemurs, Paleopropithecus, which spent their lives hanging upside down from branches. But when humans arrived around 2,000 years ago, these gentle giants, unequipped to deal with a new, intelligent predator, vanished forever. Today, the ones that remain are, to put it mildly, some of the most fascinating creatures on the planet. Our first stop is the south, at places like Berenti Reserve or Isalo National Park. Berenti is a small patch of gallery forest, a tunnel of green tamarind trees lining a river, surrounded by the spiny desert. Isalo is a world of wind-carved sandstone canyons, a vast rocky wilderness dotted with small, life-giving oases. In both of these dramatic landscapes, you'll find the most iconic of them all. The ring-tailed lemur, Lemur cata, they are unmistakable, with their fox-like faces, bright orange eyes, and that spectacular tail. A beacon of exactly 13 or 14 alternating black and white rings, they are the only lemurs that spend most of their time on the ground. And they are ruled with an iron fist by females. This is not a subtle dominance. The smallest, lowest-ranking female is still superior to the largest, strongest male. The females get the best food, they get the best sunbathing spots, and they get to smack, lunge at, or bite any male that gets out of line. This fierce matriarchy is thought to be an evolutionary response to the harsh, dry environment. When resources are scarce, the females, the ones responsible for bearing and nursing the young, must eat first. You'll see them in the morning, right as the sun crests the canyons or filters through the tamarind trees. The entire troop will find an open spot and strike their famous sun-worshipping pose. They sit upright, facing the sun with their arms held out to the side, exposing their thinly furred white bellies to the rays. This isn't a spiritual ritual, it's a biological necessity. Lemurs have a weaker internal thermostat than other primates, and the nights in the south can be cold. This is their solar-powered recharge, a way to jumpstart their metabolism for the day. But the thing nobody tells you is that their complex social lives are run by smell. The males have scent glands on their wrists and chests. To challenge a rival, they engage in a stink fight. This is not a metaphor. They'll rub their long, bushy tails over their wrist glands, which are armed with a small, thorny spur, loading them with their own personal, musky, grapefruit-like perfume. Then, the two rivals will stand off, glaring, and begin to waft their tails over their shoulders, flicking plumes of aroma directly into their opponent's face. It's a bizarre, non-violent war of aromas, a brilliant evolutionary strategy to settle disputes over status without resorting to a physical fight that could lead to injury. The loser is the one who backs down first, slinking away in olfactory defeat. But if the ringtails are the sun worshippers, the sifakas are the dancers. In the dry forests of the west, you find Vero's sifaka. These all-white lemurs are vertical clingers and leapers. Their bodies are built to rocket 12 to 98-foot leaps between trees. The problem? They are terrible at walking. When they have to cross an open patch of ground, they can't walk or run. Instead, they bounce sideways on their hind legs, arms held out for balance. It looks exactly like a child's game of hopscotch, a truly comical dance of the sifaka. To see these, you travel to parks like Karindi Forest. A day pass is cheap, around $10, but the real magic is the night walk. This is where you find the really weird ones. As we move into the lush, dense rainforests of the east, like Andasibe Mantadia or Ranomafana National Park, the lemur story gets even stranger. These parks are a tourist's dream, misty, full of orchids and accessible. You can stay at lodges like Vakona Forest Lodge or Setam Lodge, where you can wake up to the sound of the forest. And what a sound it is! This is the home of the Indri. The Indri is the largest living lemur, a beautiful black and white creature that looks like a fuzzy, wide-eyed teddy bear. But its appearance is not the wow factor, its voice is. Every morning, family groups of Indri sing. It's not a primate call, it's an eerie, wailing, whale-like song that echoes for over 2 miles through the mist. It's a territorial call, a way of saying, this is our patch of forest. To hear it is a spine-chilling, unforgettable experience. The local people, the Betsi Misaraka, believe the Indri are sacred, that they are their ancestors' Baba Koto, or Father of Man. It is fadi, or taboo, to hunt them. But these forests also hide the specialists. The bamboo lemurs are a perfect example of evolution's creativity. They do something that should be impossible. They eat bamboo. And not just any bamboo. The greater bamboo lemur eats a species of giant bamboo that is loaded with cyanide. Get this, the amount of cyanide a single lemur eats in one day is 12 times the lethal dose for most other animals. How do they do it? Honestly, scientists still aren't 100% sure, they just can. And then there is the goblin, the most bizarre primate on Earth, the eye. This creature is so strange that when it was first discovered, scientists thought it was a giant rodent. It's nocturnal, with huge glowing orange eyes, massive ears like a bat, and rodent-like teeth that never stop growing. But its most insane feature is its hands. Its fingers are long and skeletal, but the middle finger is the stuff of nightmares. It's incredibly long, thin, and bony, like a dead twig. The eye is a percussive forager. It hunts for grubs inside trees. It scurries along a branch, tapping the wood with that skeletal finger, maybe 6 to 8 times a second, while its giant ears swivel, listening for the echo of a hollow chamber where a grub might be hiding. When it hears one, it uses its razor-sharp teeth to gnaw a hole in the wood, then inserts that long, creepy finger to probe around and spear the grub. It is the only primate in the world to hunt this way. It fills the niche of a woodpecker in a land that has none. This is what Madagascar does. It finds a gap, and it fills it with something spectacular. But the lemurs are just the beginning. The island's other residents are even more masters of the hunt. If you think the lemurs are strange, just wait until you look closer. We're heading back south to Isalo National Park. This place is like Madagascar's version of the Grand Canyon, but with a lost world feel. It's a massive plateau of Jurassic-era sandstone, carved by wind and water into deep canyons, strange rock formations, and hidden palm-fringed oases with waterfalls and natural swimming holes, the piscine naturelle. This is a popular spot for travelers. You can hire a guide in the nearby town of Ranohira and hike for days. The landscape is epic, but it's also a sacred place for the Bara people who use the cliffs and caves as burial sites for their dead. And it is here, in the dry forests and canyons, that you find the true masters of ballistic warfare, the chameleons. Madagascar is the world headquarters for chameleons. Half of all the world's species live here, and only here. From giants the size of a house cat to a tiny creature so small it can sit on the head of a match. You see, a chameleon is a perfect living hunting machine. First, you have the eyes. They are mounted on tiny turrets and can swivel 360 degrees independently. A chameleon can look forward and backward at the same time, giving it 0 blind spots. When it spots its prey, a grasshopper, a beetle, a fly, it locks both eyes forward, giving it binocular vision to judge the distance with perfect precision. Then there's the famous color change. But here's the thing nobody tells you. It's not really for camouflage. It's a mood ring. Chameleons change color to communicate. A male panther chameleon will flash electric blues, greens, and reds to warn off a rival or to impress a female. A dark, drab color means it's stressed or cold. It's a living billboard of emotion. But the real wow factor is the hunt itself. That tongue, it's not a muscle, it's a biological missile. It's kept coiled at the back of its throat under high tension. When it's time to strike, the chameleon doesn't unfurl its tongue. It fires it. The tongue explodes out at speeds of over 35 miles per hour, accelerating faster than a fighter jet. It can be twice the length of the chameleon's body. The tip is a sticky, suction cup-like club that slams into the prey and yanks it back, all in less than a fraction of a second. It is, to put it mildly, a flawless ambush. You can see the giant Oostelets chameleon, one of the world's largest, hunting for small birds. And if you have a very good guide, they might be able to find you the smallest. The Brookesia micra, or nano chameleon, is the tiniest reptile on Earth. It lives in the leaf litter hunting mites. An entire adult can comfortably rest on the tip of your finger. The reptiles here are masters of illusion. We already met the leaf-tailed gecko, but its cousin, the mossy leaf-tailed gecko Uroplatus fantasticus, takes it to another level. Its entire body is a tapestry of flaps, frills, and colors that make it indistinguishable from a patch of moss or lichen on a branch. They are Photoshop masters, blending so perfectly that their main predator, the fossa, will walk right past them. This island is a living laboratory for camouflage, mimicry, and ambush. But not all the hunters here are reptiles. As we move to the heart of the island, we find the predators of the sky and the culture that defines this land. We're leaving the wild coasts and heading inland, up into the Central Highlands. This is the spine of Madagascar, a place of rolling hills, volcanic craters, and a landscape that gives the island its nickname, the Great Red Island. The first thing you notice is the tavy, or slash-and-burn agriculture. It's a devastating practice that has destroyed over 90% of Madagascar's original forests, a crisis driven by poverty and the need for charcoal and farmland. The red earth bleeds into the rivers and out to sea. But what man has carved from this landscape is, in its own way, beautiful. The highlands are covered in a brilliant green mosaic of terraced rice paddies, which climb the hills like giant emerald staircases. Rice is the staple of Malagasy life. They eat more of it per capita than any other people on Earth. And at the very heart of it all is the capital city, Antananarivo, or Tana. Tana is a chaotic, colorful, vibrant mess of a city. It's built on a series of steep hills with pastel-colored French colonial houses tumbling down the slopes, all centered around the Rover, the Queen's Palace, which sits on the highest hill. The markets, like Anomaly, are a sensory overload, a crush of people. The smell of spices, vanilla, and diesel fumes, with stalls selling everything from second-hand clothes to freshly butchered zebu, the humped cattle that are the all-purpose animal of the island. What many overlook is that the Malagasy people themselves are an evolutionary puzzle. The first people to settle this island didn't come from Africa, just 300 miles away. They came from Borneo, over 4,000 miles across the Indian Ocean, in tiny outrigger canoes, sometime around 500 AD. The Malagasy language, the rice-based diet, the terraced farming, it's all Southeast Asian. Later, African and Arab traders arrived, blending into the 18 distinct ethnic groups that exist today. This blending of cultures has created a unique set of beliefs, all centered on one thing: the ancestors. In Madagascar, the dead are not gone. They are just in a different state, and they are the most powerful force in daily life. Life is governed by thousands of fadi or taboos that vary from village to village. It might be fadi to point at a tomb, fadi to eat pork, or fadi to work on a Tuesday. The most famous expression of this belief is the famadihana, or the turning of the bones. It's a joyous festival where families exhume the bodies of their ancestors every few years. They rewrap the bodies in fresh silk shrouds. Then they dance, sing, and feast with the ancestors, carrying them around the village, telling them the local gossip before returning them to the tomb with gifts of money and rum. To an outsider, it might seem strange, but to the Malagasy, it's a profound act of love and respect. This rich cultural landscape is also home to its own unique hunters. The wetlands and rivers of the highlands are the hunting grounds for the Madagascar fish eagle. This is one of the rarest birds of prey in the world. with only about 250 pairs left. It's a magnificent bird that skims the water, snatching fish with its massive talons. Its cry, echoing across the water, is said to sound like a wailing human, earning it a place of deep respect in local lore. The forests hide even more specialized hunters. The vangers are a family of birds that are Madagascar's answer to Darwin's finches. They all evolved from one common ancestor, but adapted into wildly different forms. The helmet vanger has a massive, bright blue, helmet-like bill for crushing large insects. The sickle-billed vanger has a long, curved bill, like a scimitar, for probing deep into tree bark for grubs. And on the forest floor, you have the tenrex again. The greater hedgehog. Tenrec looks just like a European hedgehog, but it's no relation. It's a case of convergent evolution, where two unrelated animals evolve the same features to solve the same problem. They snuffle through the soil, hoovering up ants and termites. But to truly experience the paradise side of Madagascar, you have to leave the highlands and head for the ocean. If the heart of Madagascar is red, its edges are a brilliant turquoise. The island is fringed with over 3,000 miles of coastline, and its offshore islands are the stuff of tropical dreams. The most famous of these is Nosy Be, the big island off the northwest coast. This is Madagascar's tourist hotspot, and for good reason. It's a volcanic island, lush and green, and it smells literally like perfume. The air is thick with the sweet, heavy scent of ylang-ylang, a flower grown here and exported to France to be the base for high-end perfumes like Chanel No. 5. You can stay in luxury resorts or small beachfront bungalows. The food here is a blend of Malagasy, French and Creole flavors, fresh zebu steaks, grilled fish with coconut rice, and a local dish called romazava, a beef and leafy green stew that has a buzzing sensation from the anomaly flower. But the real draw is what's under the water. The reefs here are pristine. This is one of the best places in the world to swim with whale sharks. These gentle giants, the largest fish in the sea, congregate here from October to December. Diving with them is, to put it mildly, a life-changing experience. A short boat ride away is Nosy Tanikeli, a tiny marine reserve. The snorkeling here is like swimming in an aquarium. You're surrounded by clouds of tropical fish, sea turtles, and vibrant corals. But the East Coast holds a different kind of ocean magic. The Île Sainte-Marie, or St. Mary's Island, is a long, thin, beautiful island. It's also famous for two things: pirates and whales. In the 17th and 18th centuries, this island was a notorious pirate stronghold. Legends like Captain Kidd and Thomas Tew used its safe bays to hide out and stash their treasure. You can even visit the world's only known pirate cemetery, where gravestones are etched with skulls and crossbones. But from July to September, the island is host to one of the greatest migrations on Earth. Thousands of humpback whales travel all the way from Antarctica, 8,000 kilometers, to these warm, protected waters. Why? To give birth and to mate. The show they put on is spectacular. You see mothers teaching their newborn calves to breach, and massive males weighing 40 tons launching themselves fully out of the water in dramatic competitive displays. It's a colossal hunt for affection. Even on the beaches of the south, the wildlife is unique. This is the home of the magnificent radiated tortoise. Their shells are etched with an incredible star-like pattern, making them one of the most beautiful tortoises in the world. They can live for over 150 years, ancient plodders grazing on succulents, silent witnesses to this strange land. Madagascar is an island, but it has siblings. Just to the northwest lies a small volcanic archipelago that is just as strange and even more volatile. Floating between Madagascar and Africa are the Comoros Islands. These are Madagascar's fiery little sisters. They are geologically young, forged by volcanoes that are still very much active. The main island, Grande Comore, is dominated by Mount Karthala. This is one of the largest and most active shield volcanoes in the world. Its caldera, a 3x4 kilometer more, erupts every couple of decades, spewing lava and black sand down to the coast. It's a land in a constant state of creation and destruction. The culture here is different too. It's a Swahili and Arab-influenced world, known as the Perfumed Islands for its production of ylang-ylang, vanilla and cloves. And the wildlife, while less diverse than Madagascar's, has its own wow factors. The Comoros are home to Livingstone's fruit bat, one of the largest bats in the world. With a wingspan of nearly 5 feet, they are massive. They hunt for figs at dusk, blotting out the moon as they fly in huge flapping roosts. But the waters of the Comoros held one of the biggest scientific secrets of the 20th century. In 1938, a local fisherman caught a fish that scientists thought had been extinct for 65 million years. They thought it had vanished with the dinosaurs. It was a coelacanth. This living fossil is a large, oily, strange-looking fish with lobed fins that look like primitive legs. It represents a crucial evolutionary step, a snapshot of the time when fish were just beginning to crawl out of the water. And they were hiding here, in the deep volcanic caves off the Comoros all along. It was a discovery that, to put it mildly, rewrote the textbooks. It proves that this entire region, Madagascar and its siblings, is a land of survivors, a place where the ancient and the bizarre were given a chance to live on, hidden from the rest of the world. We have journeyed across an island that shouldn't exist, a land where 88 million years of isolation created a biological wonderland. We've seen the stone forests of the Tsingy and the giant baobabs. We've heard the whale song of the Indri and watched the ballistic tongue of a chameleon. We've met the people who sailed from Indonesia and who dance with their ancestors. This is the world's strangest island. A place where evolution, in its infinite creativity, produced singing primates, cyanide-proof specialists, leaf-shaped geckos, and predators that looked like a mythical beast. But the thing nobody wants to tell you is that this ark is sinking. The isolation that protected Madagascar for so long is now its greatest weakness. The Tavy, the slash-and-burn farming, is consuming the forests at a terrifying rate. "90% of the lemurs, the island's most famous residents, are now critically endangered. The radiated tortoises are being poached for their beautiful shells. What took 88 million years to build, humanity has brought to the brink of collapse in just 2000. The future of Madagascar lies in the hands of its people and in the choices we, as travelers, make. It lies in supporting the national parks, in hiring local guides, and in respecting the fady and the culture that is so deeply tied to this land. Madagascar is a biological treasure. It's a precious, living museum of what our planet can create when left alone. It's a warning, and it's a miracle, and it is disappearing. Forget everything you think you know about Madagascar, seriously. If your mind immediately goes to cartoon lemurs and vast, empty plains, you're only seeing 1% of the story. The real Madagascar is a place that shouldn't exist. It's a world unto itself, a laboratory of evolution so strange, so diverse, and so full of contradictions, it's been called the eighth continent. This is an island that broke away from Africa 160 million years ago, and then from India 88 million years ago. It's been floating in isolation ever since, creating a biological and cultural soup found nowhere else on Earth. This is a land where you can find French colonial palaces built on sacred hills that once demanded sacrifice. A place where 18th century pirates are buried with skull and crossbones, just a short boat ride from ultra-exclusive resorts that cost $20,000 a night. A land where the national dish is a greens and meat stew that makes your mouth tingle. And the street food is a mysterious cake of peanuts and bananas steamed inside a leaf. For decades, this massive island, larger than France, larger than California, has kept its secrets. It's a land of impossible contrasts, impossible luxury, impossible history, impossible flavors. Today, we're peeling back the layers. We're not just looking at the wildlife, we're looking at the haunts, the palaces, the secret restaurants, and the forgotten fortresses. We are diving deep into the 20 places and 10 flavors that make Madagascar one of the most enigmatic, challenging, and mind-blowing destinations on the planet. This is the hidden Madagascar, and what you're about to see will change everything. Your journey into the enigma of Madagascar begins in its capital, Antananarivo. Most travelers just call it Tana, and from the sky it looks like a chaotic wave of humanity, a sprawling city of terraced hills, vibrant markets, and gridlocked traffic. It's easy to dismiss. It's easy to use it as just a layover, but that would be a massive mistake, because hidden within this city of nearly 2 million people are the keys to understanding the entire island. This is the seat of ancient kings. The scar tissue of colonial rule and the birthplace of a new modern Madagascar. Your base camp in this bustling city, you need an oasis, you need the Radisson Blu Hotel, Antananarivo waterfront. This isn't just a hotel, it's a fortress of modern comfort. It sits on the edge of a lake, a gleaming structure of glass and steel that seems to float above the chaos. Inside, it's all panoramic views, spa facilities, and rooms that perfectly blend international luxury with Malagasy art. You're in the capital, but you're shielded from it. It's the perfect place to acclimate, to build your energy, because you're going to need it. This urban oasis is your gateway, your stylish first step into the highlands. From here, you're perfectly positioned to explore the riddles of Tana, and the first riddle is perched high above the city. A ghost watching over everyone. We're talking about the Rover of Antananarivo. This is the former royal palace complex. For centuries, this was the absolute center of power for the Marina Kingdom, which eventually ruled almost the entire island. You stand here, and you're standing on the same ground as kings and queens who ruled from the 1600s. The structures are vast, a mix of traditional wooden Malagasy architecture and later stone-clad European designs added by missionaries. But the rover is also a symbol of tragedy. In 1995, just before it was to be declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a devastating fire swept through the complex. It was arson, a political act that ripped the heart out of the nation. For years, the rover was just a burned-out shell, a skeleton on the hill. Today, it's being painstakingly reconstructed. Visiting it isn't just a history lesson. It's an act of cultural resilience. You can walk through the reconstructed wooden palaces, see the tombs of the monarchs, and gaze out over the entire city. The panoramic view is breathtaking, but the feeling, it's powerful. It's a story of power, destruction, and rebirth, all on one hill. But the rover wasn't the only seat of power. Just a short walk away, you'll find another palace, one that tells a story of political drama. This is the Varatra Palace. This striking pink Baroque building was completed in 1872. It wasn't for the king or queen, it was the residence of the Prime Minister Rainile Arivani, and this is where the story gets crazy. This Prime Minister was one of the most powerful men in Malagasy history. Why? Because he married the last 3 queens of Madagascar, one after another, in strategic political moves. He essentially ruled the kingdom through them. This palace, with its 4 imposing corner towers, was his power center. After the French colonized the island, it became military barracks, then a courthouse. Today, it's a museum, and thank goodness for that. When the rover burned, many of its most precious artifacts, royal portraits, gowns, gifts, and even the royal crown were rescued and brought here. So today, to see the true treasures of the Malagasy monarchy, you must visit the Prime Minister's palace. It's a story of intrigue, colonial drama, and salvaged history, all inside one 19th century masterpiece. This city is a layer cake of history, and not all of it is royal. To see the French colonial influence, you just have to look at the train station, the Gare de Soirano. This isn't your average train station. Built in the early 1900s, this is a stunning piece of French architecture, complete with a grand clock tower and wrought iron details, dropped right into the middle of the Indian Ocean. It was designed by the same architect who worked on the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. But look closer. The facade is decorated with Malagasy motifs. It's a perfect blend, a fusion. It's not just a copy of France, it's Malagasy. Today, it's still a functional, though limited station. You can board a scenic train here for a journey into the eastern rainforests. But the building itself has been reborn. The main hall is now a chic shopping center and bistro. It's a transport relic, a vintage hub that's become a gateway to forgotten journeys. It's a place where you can sip an espresso in a Parisian-style hall before catching a train through the jungle. It's pure Tana. But exploring this city of hills is exhausting. You're going to get hungry. And Tana hides some of the most sophisticated culinary secrets in all of Africa. Forget what you think you know about African food. Remember, Madagascar's roots are as much Asian as they are African, with a heavy, heavy dose of French technique. Your first stop? It has to be Restaurant La Varangue. This is, without a doubt, one of the best restaurants on the entire continent. Housed in a gorgeous colonial-era villa, walking in here feels like stepping back in time. The decor is all dark wood, antiques, and old maps. And the food? It's a culinary riddle. The chef takes traditional Malagasy ingredients, things that have grown on this island for thousands of years, and applies meticulous French gourmet technique. We're talking zebu steak, the local humped cattle, so tender it cuts like butter. We're talking river prawns. Duck and desserts infused with the most famous export of all, Madagascar vanilla. This isn't just a meal. It's an award-winning, globe-spanning experience. It's gourmet elegance with a local Malagasy soul. But Tana's fine dining scene isn't a one-hit wonder. If Lavarang is the established king, Mare Restaurant is the bold pioneer. This was Madagascar's first true gourmet restaurant, the first to really push the boundaries and say, our local cuisine can compete on the world stage. The vibe here is intimate, exclusive. They offer multi-course tasting menus that change with the seasons. The chef sources ingredients from all over the island, creating dishes that are as beautiful as they are delicious. They are famous for their wine pairings, showcasing the surprisingly good local Malagasy wines. Eating at Mare is about pride. It's a cultural fusion, a statement that Madagascar's flavors are ready for the global spotlight. The capital, Tana, is not a place to skip. It's the beating heart of the island, a city of royal ghosts, colonial echoes, and world-class flavors. And it's just the beginning. You can't understand Madagascar without understanding its food. It tells the story of the island's settlement. The first people here weren't from Africa, they were Austronesians. They crossed the entire Indian Ocean in outrigger canoes from Borneo. Think about that. They brought with them rice, coconut, and bananas. Then, Bantu-speaking peoples arrived from mainland Africa, bringing zebu beans and different greens. Then came Arab traders with spices, Indian merchants with curries, and finally the French with their bread, their pastries, and their complex techniques. All of these cultures collided in the Malagasy kitchen, and the result? A cuisine that is absolutely unique. And all of it revolves around one thing, very pronounced var, rice. Rice is not a side dish in Madagascar, it's the main event. Everything else is just laoka, the accompaniment. They eat rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In fact, the Malagasy people have one of the highest per capita rice consumptions on Earth. But what do they eat with it? That's where the magic happens. Let's start with the national dish. The one you will find everywhere, from the humblest roadside shack to the fanciest restaurant. It's called romazava. At its core, it's a simple stew. It's zebu meat, or sometimes chicken or pork, simmered with tomatoes, onions, and ginger. But it has a secret ingredient. A flour called brides mafana, or anamalaho. This flour, when cooked, releases a natural compound that creates a gentle, tingling, pins and needles sensation in your mouth. It's not spicy like a chili, it's an electrical buzz. It makes your mouth water and enhances all the other flavors. Eating romazava is a full-body experience. It's brothy, aromatic, and served over a mountain of rice. It is the soul of Madagascar in a bowl. Next, you have to try ravitoto. This dish looks intense. It's a deep, dark green paste, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's made from cassava leaves, the same plant that gives us tapioca that are pounded into a mulch. This cassava leaf mush is then slow cooked for hours, traditionally with pork or zebu fat, though coconut milk is often used in coastal areas. Garlic is added, and it's all simmered down until it's rich, earthy, and incredibly hearty. It has a slightly bitter green flavor that is perfectly balanced by the richness of the fat or coconut. Served with rice, it's the ultimate Malagasy comfort food. For breakfast, you'll find very aminanana. This is the morning fuel for the highlands. It's a rice porridge, but it's savory, not sweet. The rice is cooked with extra water until it's soupy and mixed with chopped greens and sometimes little bits of meat or sausage. It's warm, comforting, and gives you the energy you need to tackle the day. If you want pure, unadulterated zebu, you ask for hen ombi ritra. This is the Malagasy answer to pulled pork or beef brisket. It's zebu beef, slow simmered in its own juices with just some onions and maybe a little ginger. It cooks for hours and hours until it's fall-apart tender, and the sauce is a deep, dark, concentrated, beefy flavor. It's simple, it's perfect, and it's a testament to the quality of the local meat. But what about street food? The quick bites? You have to find mofo sakai. These are Malagasy fire bread. They are little savory, deep-fried bread fritters, but they are mixed with chopped greens, chili, and other spices. They're crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and have a powerful, spicy kick. You buy them hot, wrapped in a bit of paper from a street vendor. They are the perfect, fiery, on-the-go snack. Then there's the Indian influence. You'll see it in dishes like kabaro au curry. Kabaro are lima beans, and this dish is a rich vegetarian curry, thick with spices and sometimes coconut milk. It's a favorite in many regions and a clear nod to the Indian traders who settled on the island's coast. To cool things down, you'll find lasari avocat. It's a salad, but it's a Malagasy salad. Chilled, diced avocado mixed with tomatoes, onions, and a simple, sharp vinaigrette. It's served as an appetizer or a side dish to cut through the richness of the stews. It's refreshing, tropical, and proof that sometimes the simplest things are the best. On the coast, the food changes. The zebu steps back and seafood takes center stage. A classic is akoho si voanio, chicken in coconut milk. This is a mild, creamy, and fragrant dish where chicken is simmered in coconut milk with ginger and turmeric. It's a taste of the islands, a flavor that connects Madagascar to Southeast Asia and the Swahili coast. And for dessert, the streets and markets have you covered. Look for bonbon cocoa. This is a classic street-side candy. It's simply grated fresh coconut, cooked down with sugar until it caramelizes and sticks together. It's chewy, intensely sweet, and packed with coconut flavor, but the most unique dessert is koba. This is a true Malagasy mystery. You'll see it in markets, sold as a long, thick cylinder wrapped in banana leaves. You have no idea what's inside. When you buy a slice, they cut it with a string. Inside, you see a dense, sticky cake. It's made from a paste of ground peanuts and bananas mixed with rice flour and then sweetened. This paste is wrapped in the banana leaves and then steamed or boiled for hours, sometimes even days. The result is a dense, portable, slightly sweet and deeply nutty energy bar. It's unlike any other cake you've ever had. It's an ancient food, a traveler's food, and a true taste of the island's ingenuity. Madagascar's history is not a simple line narrative. It's a tangled web of powerful kingdoms, brutal pirates, colonial invaders, and spiritual forces that still hold power today. To find this history, you have to leave the capital and venture into the highlands and along the forgotten coasts. Our first stop is a place so sacred, so important, it was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is the Royal Hill of Ambohimanga. Located just outside Tana, this is the spiritual heart of the Marina Kingdom. It's a fortress, a palace, and a sacred city all in one. For 500 years, this was the cradle of the dynasty. The site is surrounded by a massive wall built in the 15th century. But this wall isn't just stone. It was built with a mortar made from egg whites, millions of them, to give it strength. You pass through one of the 7 sacred gates, massive stone disc doors that were rolled open and closed by dozens of men. Inside, you find the original simple wooden palaces, the rovers of the early kings. These are humble, dark, and filled with a palpable sense of history. You can see the royal tombs, the sacred basins used for royal baths, and the sacrificial zebu stones. This place was considered so sacred that for decades the French colonial authorities forbade anyone from visiting, fearing it would ignite a rebellion. It's a symbol of uncolonized Malagasy heritage, a spiritual fortress that still commands respect. When you stand here, you're not just a tourist, you are a guest in the ancestral home of kings. But the kings of Madagascar weren't the only power on the island. For 100 years, Madagascar was the epicenter of the pirate world. We're heading to the coast, to an island called Nosy Boraha, better known by its French name, Île Sainte-Marie. In the late 17th and early 18th centuries, this island was a pirate utopia. Notorious figures like Captain Kidd, Thomas Tew, Henry Every, and Olivier Levasseur, known as the Buzzard, all used this island as a base. It was perfectly located on the trade routes, had fresh water, and was far from the reach of the Royal Navy. They would sail from here to plunder the rich ships coming from India. They lived here, traded here, and they died here. On the mainland, across a small bay, you will find the pirate cemetery on Nosy Boraha. This is not a theme park. This is a real 18th century graveyard set on a grassy hill overlooking the water. You have to walk through a mangrove, and then suddenly you're there. The graves are ancient, covered in moss and tropical overgrowth. And on them, carvings, faint but unmistakable, the skull and crossbones. One grave is famously said to belong to Thomas Tew. These are the last resting places of some of the most feared men on Earth. Standing here with the warm Indian Ocean breeze blowing, you can't help but wonder what legends are true. What secrets were buried with them? Are the stories of vast, buried treasures on this very island just stories, or is there something more? It's a wow moment, a swashbuckling enigma that is 100% real. This island's history is a battle of influences: the pirates, the kings, and of course the Europeans. In the far north of Madagascar, in the city of Antsiranana, also called Diego Suarez, you'll find a striking symbol of that French colonial influence. This is the Our Lady of La Salette Cathedral. Built in the 19th century, this Catholic cathedral is an architectural marvel. It has two massive, imposing towers and beautiful stained glass windows. It's a slice of Gothic-inspired France. Sitting on a hill overlooking one of the world's largest natural harbors, it's a spiritual landmark, a beacon of faith that reflects the complex, multi-layered history of the North. It's a fusion of worlds, standing tall against the tropical sky. But Madagascar's history goes back even further than the kings, the pirates, or the French. Long before any of them, this island was a critical stop on the Indian Ocean trade routes. To see the proof, you have to travel to the deep south, to a place few ever see. Here, overlooking the sea, you'll find the ruins of Fort Manda. This isn't a marina fort, this isn't French, this is a 16th century Swahili fort. This stone-walled stronghold was built by the Antandroy people to defend their trade with the Swahili coast, with Arabia, with the entire Indian Ocean. The ruins are stark, windswept and powerful. The stone walls, some still standing, speak of a time when this forgotten fortress was a bustling strategic hub. It's a critical piece of the puzzle. It proves that Madagascar was never truly isolated. It was always a crossroads, a land of kings, a haven for pirates, a prize for colonizers, and a partner in an ancient world of trade. If Madagascar's history is gritty and layered, its modern luxury is in another universe entirely. In the remote northern archipelagos and on private peninsulas, a new kind of destination has emerged. These aren't just hotels, they are fantasies. They are impossible escapes that blend extreme luxury with untouched, raw wilderness. And they are some of the most exclusive and expensive places on Earth. Let's start with the peak, the legend. We are talking about Miavana by time plus tide. You cannot reach this place by car, you cannot reach it by boat. Your journey to Miavana begins with a helicopter which sweeps you away to the remote island of Nosy Ankau. This isn't a resort, it's a collection of 14 private villas that are more like modernist palaces. Each one has a private pool, a personal butler, and direct access to a beach of powdered sugar white sand. The design is all clean lines, floor-to-ceiling glass, and natural materials. But the real luxury isn't just the villa, it's the access. From here, you can take that helicopter to track endangered crowned lemurs in a private reserve. You can go scuba diving in reefs that almost no one has ever seen. You can go deep sea fishing for giant trevally or simply have a private picnic on a deserted sandbank. This is secluded luxury in a biodiversity hotspot. It's a James Bond-like lair of impossible beauty and privacy. It redefines what a beach vacation can be. If Miavana is the modern fortress of luxury, then Constance Zarabandjina is the barefoot paradise. This is another private island, this time off the coast of Nosy Bay. Zarabandjina means island of beautiful sand. And it is not an exaggeration. The resort is eco-luxury. The villas are beautiful, thatched roof bungalows nestled into the vegetation, each with its own private beach. The philosophy here? No shoes, no news. This is the ultimate digital detox. You are completely isolated. You spend your days snorkeling on the pristine house reef, walking the untouched beaches, and eating incredible fresh seafood. It's an all-inclusive indulgence, but it feels natural. It's an impossible blend of total isolation and effortless comfort. It's a place to unplug from the world and plug directly into nature. Further south on the mainland, you find a different kind of impossible. This is Anjahavi La Lodge. This is a relais and chateau property, which tells you everything you need to know about the quality of the food and service. It's located on a private peninsula, accessible only by air. You land on a private airstrip, and you're immediately in a 1,000-acre private nature reserve. The beachfront bungalows are gorgeous, built with rosewood, but the wow factor here is the wildlife. You don't have to look for it. It comes to you. Cockerel's Sifaka lemurs with their bright white fur dance through the trees right next to the lodge. Brown lemurs will join you from a polite distance at the oasis, a garden where they come to play. You can take guided nature walks, find hidden caves, and at the end of the day, have a private dinner set up on the beach, watching the sunset paint the giant baobab trees in silhouette. It's a true immersion in wildlife, but with 5-star amenities. But luxury in Madagascar isn't just about isolation, it's also about healing. On the popular island of Nosy Be, you'll find the Ravinsara Wellness Hotel. This is a holistic haven. It's not about helicopters, it's about healing. The resort is set in a sprawling 12-acre botanical garden filled with tropical flowers and the scent of ylang ylang. The focus here is on the spa. They use local essential oils, vanilla, ylang ylang, ravintsara in all their treatments. There are yoga pavilions overlooking the ocean, meditation gardens, and a restaurant focused on healthy, organic, slow food. This is a place to come after a long trek, a place to decompress. It's a reminder that Madagascar's wild diversity also includes a profound healing energy. Also on Nosy Be, for those seeking romantic seclusion, there is the Madagascar Lodge. This is a boutique lodge, not a sprawling resort. It has just a handful of eco-friendly bungalows built with traditional materials and respecting the landscape. The infinity pool seems to melt directly into the ocean. The key here is sustainable design and marine encounters. This lodge on the west coast is a perfect base for whale watching in season. Humpback whales come here to carve. You can also see whale sharks, the gentle giants of the ocean. Madagascar is about proving that luxury can be small-scale, sustainable, and deeply connected to the sea. Finally, there's an escape for the person who wants true wilderness but doesn't want to sleep on the ground. This is Eden Lodge. Located in northern Madagascar on a remote beach, this is glamping taken to a whole new level. These are eco-luxury tents, but tent is the wrong word. These are canvas palaces with four-poster beds, designer bathrooms, and private decks, all set right on the sand. The entire lodge is low impact. It runs on solar power. The food is all sourced from local fishermen and farmers. There is no air conditioning, just the sea breeze. This is as off-grid as you can get while still enjoying absolute comfort. It's a place that balances a raw, pristine, natural setting with a deep environmental ethos. It's the future of travel. These places are more than hotels. They are destinations in themselves. They are the impossible side of Madagascar, where the wildest nature on Earth meets a level of luxury that is simply beyond belief. The high-end lodges are staggering. The capital is a rush, but the soul of Madagascar is often found in the places in between. In the smaller towns, on the rural roads, and in the family-run restaurants that serve the real unpretentious flavors of the island. This is where you find the other side of Malagasy hospitality. Madagascar, the eighth continent, a land that floats in the Indian Ocean, unbound by the rules of the world we know. It's a place of cartoonish baobabs, of ghostly lemurs, of ancient jagged stone forests. We come here seeking the lost and the impossible. We come here for the history, for the adventure, for the sheer jaw-dropping unreality of it all. But we have overlooked something. We have forgotten the most fundamental, most intimate way to understand a culture. We've forgotten to taste it. What is Malagasy food? The world at large remains silent. It's a culinary black hole. We hear whispers of French influence, of African roots, of Asian spices. But the truth is far more complex, more hidden, and infinitely more delicious. The food of Madagascar is a secret history of the island itself. It's a story told in braised zebu, in coconut-infused rice, in spices that grow nowhere else on Earth. It is not a single cuisine. It is 1,000 cuisines, evolving in isolation, hidden in remote highlands, tucked away on forgotten beaches, and thriving in dusty gateway towns. Today, we are not just exploring Madagascar, we are tasting it. We are going on a culinary expedition to find the island's most hidden eateries, its most authentic kitchens, and its most shocking gourmet secrets. Forget the five-star resorts, forget the tourist traps. We are going to the heartland, we are going to the coast, we are going to the places that don't just serve you a meal. They serve you the soul of this island. This is a journey into the flavor of the eighth continent, and what we find will change the way you see this land forever. Our journey begins in the highlands. We leave the chaotic energy of the capital, Antananarivo, and travel south. The landscape transforms. The air becomes cooler, sharper. We are climbing into the cultural and spiritual heart of Madagascar. This is the land of the Betsileo people, a place defined by a breathtaking, impossible architecture, rice terraces. They cascade down the hillsides like a green staircase for giants, a testament to centuries of human ingenuity and backbreaking labor. This is a land built on rice. Rice is not a side dish here. It is the point. It is the center of every meal, every day. And at the center of this region we find a city, Fianarantsoa. They call it the City of Good Education. It is the island's academic and intellectual capital. It's also quietly the winemaking capital of Madagascar. The streets are a chaotic, beautiful maze of colonial-era buildings, bustling markets and winding staircases. It's a city of thinkers, of farmers, of vintners, and here, nestled in a historic, unassuming building, you won't find a sterile, white tablecloth gourmet French restaurant. You'll find something infinitely better. You'll find Chez Eugénie restaurant. From the outside, it is humble. It is a place you could easily walk past. There are no flashing neon signs. There is no international marketing. There is only a simple name and the quiet confidence of a place that has been serving the community for decades. This is a family-run institution. This is a living archive. The moment you step inside, the world outside melts away. It's cozy, it's historic, and above all, it is devastatingly authentic. The wooden tables are worn smooth by a half-century of conversations, of family dinners, of students celebrating their graduations. The air is warm, thick with the smell of slowly simmering stews, of ginger, of garlic, and the sweet, comforting aroma of perfectly cooked rice. This is not a place for fusion cuisine. This is not a laboratory for deconstructed concepts. This is a fortress of tradition. This is where you eat what Malagasy families eat. They specialize in the classic, hearty, uncompromising dishes of the highlands. This is the food of the Betsileo. You will find romazava, the national dish of Madagascar. It is a revelation. It's a complex stew of zebu, the island's iconic humped cattle, braised for hours until it falls apart at the mere suggestion of a fork. But the secret, the thing that makes it Malagasy, is the anomaly flowers. They call them paracress. They introduce a tingling, effervescent, electric sensation to the broth. It is not spice, not heat. It is a feeling, a gentle, buzzing electricity that wakes up your entire palate. And then there is the ravitoto, a dish that sounds simple but holds a universe of flavor. It is pounded, stewed cassava leaves. It sounds rustic, almost primitive, but the taste, it's an earthy, deep, complex green, traditionally enriched with coconut milk and sometimes small pieces of pork or zebu. It is the very flavor of the Malagasy earth, transformed into something savory and utterly addictive. And of course, there is the rice. The very, served in a mountain. It is the canvas upon which these flavors are painted. Eating at Chez Eugénie is not a transaction. It feels like being invited into someone's home for dinner. It's unpretentious. It's hearty. It is a delicious, warm, and genuine dive into the regional flavors that have been passed down, mother to daughter, father to son, for generations. This is the baseline. This is the soul of the highlands. But rustic does not mean simple, and the highlands are only our first stop. To find our next secret, we must leave the highlands behind. We must go west. We travel for hours on roads that are less roads and more suggestions. The green terraced hills give way to a drier, hotter, dustier landscape. The earth turns a deep, rusty red. This is the domain of the baobabs. We are heading toward the Mozambique Channel, toward a wilder, untamed part of the island. Our destination is a town called Belo sur Tsiribihina. This is a gateway town. It is a dusty, sprawling frontier outpost. It's a jumping-off point for adventurers preparing to navigate the Tsiribihina River by pirogue. And for the brave few who travel to the nearby otherworldly stone forests of Tsingy de Bemaraha. This is a place of zebu carts, of river ferries, of travelers stocking up on water and fuel. You would expect, perhaps, a simple roadside shack, a place to get a plate of rice and beans before heading into the wilderness. You are expecting function, not art. Instead, you find Mad Zebu. This place is a shock. It is an anomaly. It is a culinary mirage that should not exist. It's rustic, yes. The building is open air, built from local wood with a thatched roof that blends perfectly into the wild surroundings. But one look at the kitchen, one glance at the menu, and you realize you have stumbled into a different dimension. This is rustic fine dining. The chef is a creative genius, a visionary who saw this remote, dusty town not as a limitation, but as an inspiration. He uses all farm-fresh local produce. He has cultivated relationships with every farmer, every fisherman, every forager in the region. The menu is often written on a simple slate because it changes every single day. It changes based on what's good at the market that morning, what the river fisherman brought in, what is perfectly ripe in the garden. This is where Malagasy tradition is reimagined with breathtaking French technique. You might find river prawn ravioli. These aren't farmed shrimp. These are massive, succulent freshwater prawns, pulled from the Tsiribihina River just hours before. Wrapped in delicate, paper-thin, handmade pasta. You might find zebu carpaccio. Think about that. The mighty muscular zebu, an animal of strength and labor, sliced so thin it becomes a delicate, meltingly tender canvas. It's dressed not with parmesan, but perhaps with a crackle of wild Votsi periphery pepper, a rare, fragrant pepper that grows only in the Malagasy wilderness, and a drizzle of local unfiltered olive oil. You might find a duck breast, pan-seared to perfection, resting on a bed of purple sweet potatoes and drizzled with a sauce made from local wild honey. You might find a dessert using local fruits you've never even heard of, a sorbet made from soursop, a tart made from jackfruit. A delicate crème brûlée infused with the impossible-to-describe flavor of Malagasy vanilla, the most prized vanilla on earth. Mad Zebu is a testament to countryside charm and relentless culinary innovation. It is an hidden eatery of the highest order. It is a gamble, a passion project, a statement. It proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that true gourmet food is not about the address, it's about the vision. And it can be found in the most remote, the most unexpected, the most impossible of places. We came here expecting subsistence. We found a masterpiece. Our journey takes us south. We follow the coast down, down, down. The air gets thicker, heavier, saturated with salt. We pass through the spiny forests, a bizarre alien landscape of thorny octopus trees and swollen baobab trunks. This is the territory of the Vezo people, the nomads of the sea. We are near the beach town of Ifati. It's a popular spot for divers, for whale watchers, for those seeking to escape the world on a stretch of white sand. And it is here, hidden from the main resorts, right on the sand, that you'll find a place that is the absolute literal definition of ocean to table. This is Pili Pili. Forget shoes, forget walls, forget reservations, forget even a menu. This is a seafood specialist where your table is a weathered wooden bench and your floor is the soft white sand of the beach itself. It is a collection of thatched roof parasols, a charcoal grill, and a direct line to the fishermen of the Mozambique Channel. The wow factor here is not complexity, it is the opposite. It is pure, simple, brutal authenticity. The menu is whatever the fishermen in their hand-carved pirogue outrigger canoes pulled out of the channel that morning. You walk up to the grill, you point. We are talking grilled lobster, massive spiny lobsters caught an hour ago. They are split, thrown on the smoldering charcoal and basted with a simple brush of garlic, lime and butter. The meat is so sweet, so fresh, it barely needs the butter. It tastes of the clean, clear water it came from. We're talking whole grilled fish, red snapper, grouper. Their skins are blackened and crispy from the fire, the flesh inside perfectly white, flaky and moist. We're talking skewers of shrimp and calamari, kissed by the smoke, served with a bowl of akad, a tangy, crunchy Malagasy pickle of lemons and vegetables, and a bowl of rice cooked in coconut milk. You sit there, feet in the sand. You watch the local pirogues with their distinctive square sails gliding silently by on the turquoise water. You drink a cold local Three Horses beer. You are not a customer in a restaurant. You are a participant in a perfect coastal moment, and the sunset over the Mozambique Channel, viewed from this exact spot, is something that will be seared into your memory for the rest of your life. The sky explodes. It turns from electric blue to a riot of impossible orange, deep purple, and fiery red. The sun sinks directly into the ocean, and the silhouettes of the pirogues become a stark, beautiful black against the inferno. You are eating the freshest seafood on the planet, with your feet in the sand, watching one of the most spectacular natural shows on Earth. Pili Pili is not just a meal, it's a seaside secret. It is a perfect moment of coastal freshness. A reminder that the greatest luxuries in life are not complicated. They are simple, they are fresh, and they are real. For our final stop, we must travel again. We fly north to an island off the northwest coast, an island of legend. Nosy Be. This is the Perfumed Isle. It is the most famous, most visited, most touristic spot in all of Madagascar. The air is heavy with the scent of its ylang-ylang plantations, of vanilla, of spices. It's known for its resorts, its tour operators, its beautiful beaches, and its tourists. Frankly, this is the last place on Earth you would expect to find authentic, innovative cuisine. You would expect generic resort buffets. You would expect bad pizza and overpriced cocktails, but hidden in plain sight in the main town of Ambatoloaka, there is a place that defies the tourist trap cliché, a place that has become the vibrant, beating heart of a new modern Malagasy fusion scene. And the champion of that is Corto Maltese. This is Italian Malagasy fusion. And before you scoff, it works. This is not a gimmick. This is a brilliant, passionate collision of two of the world's great culinary traditions. The restaurant itself is a lively, vibrant hub. It's always packed. The walls are covered in colorful art. The bar is always busy, buzzing with a dozen languages. This is where travelers in the know and discerning locals mix, and where the food is a perfect metaphor for the island of Nosy Be itself. Think about it. Perfect, handmade al dente Italian pasta. But the sauce. The sauce is made with the colossal fresh seafood pulled from the waters just offshore. It's tossed with Malagasy spices, that wild vociferiferi pepper, a hint of local saffron, a touch of ginger. It is at once familiar and completely thrillingly new. Think pizza, a perfect, thin, wood-fired crust, but the toppings are local cheeses, fresh made and smoked shredded zebu. It's a flavor combination that makes no sense until the moment you taste it, and then it's the only thing that makes sense. Think a delicate zebu carpaccio, but here it's paired with a sharp, tangy pesto made from local greens. Think a panna cotta, but infused with the powerful floral caramel notes of the island's own vanilla beans. Corto Maltese is Mediterranean technique, meeting Indian Ocean vibes. It is Italian precision, meeting Malagasy chaos and abundance. It is a cross-cultural party on a plate. It's the perfect way to understand the delicious, blended and surprising character of modern Madagascar. It proves that even in the most touristic of places, real, passionate, inventive food is thriving. You just have to know where to look, from a generations-old stew in the highlands to a shocking gourmet mirage in the dust. From the simplest, freshest lobster on a sandy beach to a brilliant, chaotic fusion on a tourist island. Madagascar is not one place, it is not one flavor, it's 1,000 different worlds, all colliding on one island. It's the spiritual power of a 15th century royal hill and the futuristic luxury of a private helicopter villa. It's the ghostly silence of a pirate graveyard and the bustling energy of a capital city's gourmet restaurant. It's the earthy, complex, ancient flavor of a cassava leaf stew that has been eaten for 1,000 years. And it's the simple, perfect, fleeting flavor of a lobster grilled on a sandy beach, eaten as the sun bleeds into the ocean. This is the 8th continent, a land of endless wild diversity. It's an ancient fortress, it's a modern paradise, it's a culinary secret. It's a historical enigma. It's a place that defies every single expectation you have of it. It's not just a trip, it's a journey into a world that's separated from our own 88 million years ago. A world that has been writing its own story, its own recipes ever since. Madagascar isn't a place you just see. It's a place you have to experience, a place you have to taste, touch, and feel. It is a land of impossible contrasts, and it is waiting.